Hi, and welcome to Novel-ula's Reading Room. I don't know if you've noticed, but there are so many books out there and there is so little time, but you just have to try to take in as many as you can. This is one of the most fun books you're going to find out there, Lite. Now, it's written by some of the finest horror writers working today. We've got Charlene Harris in it, Sherilyn Kenyon, Jim Butcher, Kelly Armstrong, and a host of others. The thing about Lite is it's Blood Light. Horror on the light side. Who says horror cannot be fun? There's a lot of humor in these pages along with horror. It's really a book that's not to be missed if you're a fan of humor and laughing, or a fan of horror, or a fan of both, or just a fan of some of the wonderful authors who happen to be in this book. It's definitely out there. It's definitely something you need to pick up, and I guarantee you that if you like fiction, you're going to have a good time reading this. Also, remember, anthologies are great because when you take an anthology with you, you get to read one story, finish it, and do whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. And then when you have that other break of a few minutes, you can read another story. And you get the satisfaction out of having to have that whole story that you've gotten, and you've laughed, and you might have been a little bit afraid. Great, and you'll be laughing at the foibles of human beings too. A lot of fun, Blood Light, definitely one that you need to be picking up. Next, if you're not looking for things that are quite so light, you can pick up another horror anthology called Unspeakable Horror that features some of our best-selling horror writers of today and those who are going to be the pose of tomorrow. Or maybe they're already there now. It just depends on how you want to look at your horror. There's also a number of books that have been out for a little bit, but that you might have missed. And of course, a few here that are just new on the market too. If you haven't read Alexandra Sokoloff yet, you must pick her up. She's had out a book called The Harrowing, very spooky, scary. And now she's got out The Price. And a lot of the thrills and chills that you get from Alexandra are psychological. And you're cast into situations, and they could be on the paranormal side, and then again, maybe you could find explanations for them. But definitely the kind of thing you probably don't want to be reading late at night, at home alone, out in a dark forest where Jason and all those other guys seem to attack people. It's much better if you're reading that in the company of others. Moving on, there's not much to say about Michael Connelly because we've all known and loved him for years and years. A wonderful writer, excellent mystery. I just read Trunk Music and enjoyed it tremendously. Christina Dodd, Danger in a Red Dress. She's an amazing author who's been out there now for quite a while. I don't know how many languages she has been translated into, but it's many, many, many. Featured all over the place, New York Times, USA. Wonderful author, very wonderful book. Touch of the scary, touch of romance, touch of all kinds of things. You will enjoy it, definitely. If you haven't had a chance to pick up Harley Jane Kozak yet, that's a storyteller you are really missing. These are wonderful, fun, suspenseful, eclectic, just wonderful read books, and they are entertaining. One of the things that I think that is amazing about Harley's books is that Harley's personality comes right into them. Dry, witty, ironic. Everything has a lot of fun going to it while you're being scared, and she has created a character that you absolutely fall in love with. Her heroine, Wooly Shelley, does not go out of her way to become a cop, a detective, a PI, or any such thing. She owns a greeting card store, and she is an artist trying to get her own greeting cards going. But she just seems to stumble into predicament after predicament and an amazing amount of dead bodies. Then, for those of you who did not realize that Dexter series comes from very, very wonderful books, I highly suggest picking them up. Once, even being Novel-ula, when I was told that I would fall in love with a serial killer, my answer was, you are simply nuts. There is no way to fall in love with a serial killer. However, Dexter, yes, you can fall in love with Dexter because he does have his own set of morals. And his set of morals touches something inside of all of us when we see some of the things that go on in the world that we can't really do anything about. Dexter is the man who can change that. He is a serial killer, but he selects his victims. Now, the thing about the books, too, is that as good as the series is, there's another touch of the books that is a bit different, and that's the voice of the author, something that you'll never find on film, no matter what. So I highly recommend reading them. This one that I've just been picking up is Dexter in the Dark. They begin, however, with darkly dreaming Dexter. So if you're looking for something way off the beaten track, definitely pick up the Dexter novels. They are wonderful. One other book that you might want to pick up, well, yes, you might want to pick up Gateways, but you might want to pick up one of the other 12 books in this series as well, because F. Paul Wilson also has a very unique character in Repairman Jack. Repairman Jack also has his own code of honor and his own way of doing things. He's not a serial killer. He would just as soon not kill unless he absolutely has to. But when we see Repairman Jack, we are not looking at your usual appliance repairman. Repairman Jack fixes a type of thing in life that most people can't. So again, let me just round them up. Really scary, really funny, Lite. Really scary, unspeakable horror. A lot of psychological tension. The Price by Alexandra Sokoloff. Fascinating series, and just think when you go nuts over one of them, you have 12 more to buy. This is Gateways, F. Paul Wilson. Michael Connelly, you can never go wrong when you're looking for a good mystery. Christina Dodd, if you've not yet read this author, then you really must. Once again, Dexter. Even if you've seen the series, if you haven't read the books, you're missing out. Harley Jane Kozak and A Date You Can't Refuse. Well, I want to thank you for dropping in. We will have more books out soon. And of course, we cannot possibly cover all the wonderful fiction that's out there. Also, everybody's got their own taste. But here's just some, if you haven't had a chance to look them up, for your own reading room where you can kick back at any time and have the friendship of a book. Thank you so much for dropping in on Novel-ula. We hope to see you again.